Thank you very much. So I'm standing between you and evening dinner, but I don't want to stand here too long. I'm just going to take you through a few things. Amit actually mentioned to me that he wanted me to talk about a couple of experiences sort of from schools around the world and then talk about what TAPMI does. So very quickly, I have three little points: essentials of a good MBA program, initiatives by top schools, and the TAPMI Edge. A lot of people use creativity and innovation together. I think it's wrong to use them together. They're completely two different things, and people use it sort of interchangeably. Creativity is a lot more difficult to do because it has to be something very unusual. Innovation is a little easier to do because you can sort of implement, tweak processes. And I think that's probably where I'll focus a little bit. So a good MBA program has got, Dan spoke about it, integration of curriculum, innovative student-managed activities. A couple of people spoke about leadership. I think Ashish spoke about the base camp, Everest base camp. Critical analytical thinking and fostering creativity innovation. But as I told you, I tend to look at these two words as completely two different words. And they have two different meanings, of course. So quickly, some examples of what Booth does, Chicago Booth. They have a very interesting course called Global New Venture Challenge. They have an integrated strategic management course. And I think the point that I want to bring together is the question that Dan asked. Do you benefit if you're a standalone business school versus if you're a university? And the problem of being a standalone business school is you actually lose the advantage of being in a center of where the action is. And I'm quite happy to say that at some point in time in the very near future, TAPMI will actually be with the Mahe group, the larger Manipal group, and I think we'll be able to draw upon fantastic experiences because this course in strategic management is taught by psychologists, sociologists, and business profs. And so you can actually see multiple views coming into this course, and that's where we need to really go. I want to talk to you a little bit about marketing lab courses. This is one of the most amazing courses at Booth, where students have to do, it's a 10-week course, and they have to solve problems, and they are real business problems. Ashish spoke about Maxey at Accelara, and I'll talk a little bit about BrandScan, which is a TAPMI initiative for the last 25 odd years, and very similar things happen. But that's sort of innovative stuff. TAPMI uses, and like many other schools, the case study pedagogy, the method, it's fine, but I don't think that's necessarily very innovative in itself. Look at NUS. They have this thing called boot camp, a communication, and what they do is it's a 5-day intensive communication boot camp. Everybody has got to solve some of the problems. They have to work in groups. I think it's very exciting. They apply theory into practice. They have over 300 live projects that they have to work on. These are MBA students, first-year MBA students, and they have to do a lot of hands-on consulting projects. So there is that real experience, innovation coming through. INSEAD does this leadership program, and also it's about self-awareness, interpersonal skills, communication, of course, and again, they speak about leadership and creativity. So these are just a couple of examples I thought I'll pick up from the schools around the world, very well-respected schools around the world. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about what TAPMI does, the TAPMI Edge. So number one, experiential learning, and a lot of people spoke about it. I'll give you 3 examples of how we do it. And then how do we connect with the industry through conclaves and guest lecture series. I'll talk a little bit about it, not much. Simulation, case-based learning, again, I'll just touch upon a little bit. And then how does the curriculum generate an industry-relevant graduate? That's critical and that is important. You don't want to be generating something that the industry feels, hey, listen, this is something we don't even care about, and you guys are still talking about it. So we have to be industry-relevant. And how do you collaborate innovation? So TAPMI is in this amazing setup of this Manipal group where we have the MIT, the whole innovation, the incubation center at Mudbee. We work closely with them now. We are now designing courses for their engineering graduates. We are thinking about how we can do, there are prototypes that these guys have built and how the business school can contribute in bringing that into reality. That is how schools should be run. And therefore, I think it's necessary that the standalone schools will actually probably suffer. And therefore, being a part of a university setup, there is a definite advantage. So very quickly, the mission of TAPMI is to excel in postgraduate management, education, research, and practice. And I'll probably skip the student centrism, but I think this is the campus. If you haven't been to TAPMI campus, it's a stunning campus. I invite all of you to come to Manipal. This is probably the best time to come to Manipal because it rains, and it is magical to be in a campus of the nature. It's 43 acres. But I think a lot of creativity and innovation can happen in a place like that because you're away from the hustle and bustle of Mumbai and Bangalore and the congestion. So I think your mind will probably work much better if you were to come to that place. Anyway. So how we teach very quickly. So this is 3 examples. So first is, in fact, my ex-director tapped me, and my colleague is also here, our senior Prajan. It was a conversation we had, and And then at that point, when he was the director, we set this finance lab, which is the largest lab in the country. It's got 16 Bloomberg terminals, 7 Reuters terminals. And why I'm telling you this is about innovation. This is about how students will actually learn to handle real money. So students are actually given money to handle, and this is TAPMI's money, by the way. So I handpicked the students, and there are 40 of them. Each of the students get real money to invest in the markets, and they have, any loss they make, they have to cover. Any profits they make out of the investment, the profits come to the student fund. So we put it back in the corpus. And so this is real. There's no simulation in this. And the course starts in term 4, ends in term 6. There is no examination. 30% of the course is for your portfolio performance. 70% of the course is weekly presentations with me, which happens Saturday night from 9:30 until 1 a.m. in the morning. And then there's a final presentation where very senior portfolio managers come and evaluate them. There could be nothing more real to these guys because they know I'm their client. They know they can't sink my money. They know they have to make returns for me. They also need to know they have to make good decisions. And they will invariably, they end up making some of the wrong decisions. They buy the stock when they should not be. They sell it too early. They hold the losses too long. But they know they have to pay. They have to cover the losses. So there's a lot of decision making that happens. So it's called, the course is called SMIC. It's a student-managed investment course. At the moment, I think TAPMI is the only school that gives real money to invest. Each team has a portfolio manager. The teams pick their own portfolio managers. The portfolio manager has the final call. Every decision the team takes is recorded. At the end of the investment diary, date, with the timestamp, the report, what decisions were taken. And the final call lies with the portfolio manager. He can overrule the team, he can do whatever he likes, but there must be a dissent. If there is a dissent, the dissent is also noted in the investment diary. So that is how clear we are. So the final presentation is, I invite some very senior managers around the world, from Mumbai and other places. So they come and they evaluate them. These are people who manage billions and billions of rupees. So these are guys who manage 20, 30,000 crores. They come and evaluate these students. They give nothing more real for them. They probably are sweating it out. They get 15 minutes to present their entire portfolio and show what their investment philosophy was, rationale was, why did they make certain decision, and they can be asked any question. And the team that is evaluating can pick any of the team members and ask a question. So you could just imagine, and I invite all the first-year students to actually watch it. All faculty, all first-year students witness this. This is the most exciting day, but I'm sure 24 to 48 hours before the day actually happens, you can literally see how they're sweating. But that's good fun. That's how it is. So we want to ensure that we give them the realities of markets, because there is no point in me teaching you a capitalist pricing model or an arbitrage pricing theory and telling them, guys, this is how the world works. They need to know how the world works. They need to see how it works. We prepare them for real-world challenges. As told you, we get it evaluated by senior capital market participants. We have multiple learning approaches. So obviously, simulation, a lot of simulation happens in different courses. And of course, actively we promote teamwork. This is also about teamwork. The team is typically around 5 to 6 maximum, but no less than 5. It's 5, it's got to be in a team. And then the portfolio manager decides which member will follow which sector as well. So this is a complete risk management strategy. Stop loss, upside, downside, everything is done in this course. Samnadi is actually a student managed investment fund. Again, the only registered fund in the country. It started in December 2014. Here, students collect money from students and invest in the markets. Real money they collect. And what I do is in March of each year, we have this sort of a press. So we get the entire TAPMI community to come, and then the student fund, the CEO, the CRO, the CIO, the CMO, and the CHRO, they will present the results of the fund to the whole TAPMI community. It's a fully functional board. Board minutes are taken, and it really operates as a real fund. So the primary takeaway are basically a lot of learning sessions. How do you formulate portfolio strategies? How do you evaluate them? What tools you use? What techniques you use? So absolutely real learning. I think this is a great innovation. And this is something that is replicable. See, creativity cannot be copied. It's not scalable. Innovation, you can scale. It is scalable. BrandScan. Ashish spoke about Maxi in an XLRI, doing very similar. So BrandScan, I think, started 25 years ago at TAPMI. Pioneer in live market research, unique endeavor B school. There's a lot of industry relevance that happens. And actually, I'm planning something very big for BrandScan. We're now setting up a new BrandScan lab at TAPMI. And I was just telling the marketing faculty that why don't we really have some live portals? So there is something that's a lot of work in progress that happens. So it's a student-run course. It's a 3-credit course. It's a disguised market research format. Live projects, as Ashish also spoke about. There are 3 different approaches: observational, analytical, and predictive. There are 2 fairs that happen. The first one's going to happen in Manipal this year, November 4, followed by the fair in Bangalore. So again, a lot of the corporate India come and actually participate in this. Here are some clients, a lot of clients that these guys have consulted, and all of the reports are documented. It's very real stuff. So companies approach them, there's PLs, the project leaders, they submit the reports, presentations happen, then we set up the stalls, those companies that have given them the projects come and see them as well. So here are some examples of how BrandScan has actually contributed, sort of really this fast track helmets. The 3M car care was a result of a BrandScan project. The packaging on the Britannia Little Hearts was also a result of BrandScan project. The smaller polo, 2 rupee polo thing, that also came because of a BrandScan project. And the dotted condom line also in Moods came out of a BrandScan product. So you can actually see how real it gets. And that is why I say there is no point in us teaching. The conceptual things are obviously important, the fundamental underpinnings, but there has to be some relevance to practice. The third point I want to talk to you about is the Leadership Assessment Development Center at TAPMI. Tomorrow, a colleague of mine, Happy Paul, is going to talk about it at length, and if you're around, you'll get to hear him. But very quickly, so it's a path to, this is probably the only leadership development center in the country that we have. So one-on-one advisory that happens for students. Every single student goes through a lot of psychometric sort of tests. There's personality self-awareness that happens. Then one-on-one advisory. Faculty are actually trained. There are over 20 faculty who are actually trained coaches. They can actually coach them. So there are also student advisors. So it's a dedicated center. We assess and develop transformational leadership. The center actually allows and enables students to understand what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, and then faculty mentors actually give them a self-development plan. So it's very confidential. The reports are confidentially kept in the LADC office. So this is something very exciting, and a lot of students enjoy this. The next thing I want to quickly talk to you about is what we call immersive learning, which we have just started this year. And the reason why I wanted this done at TAPMI was I find that most MBA grads are not really grounded people, right? They tend to float in the air. They think, I want to get a corporate job, I want a Lamborghini, an Aston Martin. I want to be roaming in a wonderful BMW, Mercedes-Benz. But they really don't know, the people who have nots, what they go through. So I thought this is critical for us. So we're also an advanced signatory for Prime. So we joined the UN Prime last year. Obviously, there are 17 SDGs. We tried to bring some of the SDGs into the curriculum. So there is a center we started 2 years ago called the TAPMI Center for Inclusive Growth and Competitiveness, and that integrates a lot of sustainability-related activities. So what we have done is we have got 2 credit courses this year. The first is called the Sustainability Agile Ethics, which is a classroom course. And then we have this thing called SEVA, which is Society, Environment, Values, and Attitudes. So these are live projects where students have to go on the ground and pick up, work with the district administration. These are absolutely, projects you can't even imagine. Some of this could be about constructing some sort of toilets in a government school. It could be about assisting the DC. It could be setting up a roster system for the police in Karnataka. It could be about helping the High Court, the district court in Udupi to sort of rationalize stuff. So those sorts of things happen. Finally, Chair is telling me I'm out of time. I only have a couple of minutes. We're also part of the MOC affiliate network member at Harvard. I'll quickly go through. I don't think I'll say much more, but maybe if I'm out of time, of course, one final point I want to make is the serious connect that we have with alumni who are also partners in our learning. We have this intergenerational transfer we do with the alums, which I think is critical. And what I think I'll probably, very quickly, this slide will probably sort of summarize the unique TAPMI. So we're WCSB, obviously, with great pride, we say that. We're the largest finance lab. Social responsibility, high quality research, a lot of student-driven stuff that happens. We believe in one word, if I were to summarize in 2 words, it's about experiential learning. And of course, the LADC, which is there for all 483 students in the first year, that happens. So, yeah, I'm going to stop here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm ahead of time.
Thank you, Madhu.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. I'm sorry I had to